Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here, back again with some more geeky news. Might be yawning a lot tonight because I'm just come over all super tired. I don't know why, but I did get up quite early. Aidan woke me up. That's my son. Woke me up quite early. Anyway, so we'll soldier on. Right, let's crack on, as I say. Stop going get. You'll do. You'll do. Right, let's get my window up, my newsy window. Right, here we go. Start off with the was it yesterday? Was it yesterday? The day before? I can't remember. Even Hugh Grant was rumoured to be the new Doctor Who. Well, he's come out and said he's not going to be the new Doctor Who. So let's have a read from the Express. Oh, pardon me, I'm burping already. I've just started. It's because I'm on 7 Up tonight. It's very fizzy. From the blah 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 blah. What am I saying? Alright, all the links are in the description box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. There, look, up there. Like and subscribe, share the videos, and drop a comment, and use the notification bell so you get told when I'm annoying you on live shows, or if I've put a new video up. I've done some clip shows, and I've done a couple of me drawing, speeded up drawing videos, if you're interested in that sort of thing. Anyway, so there we go, Doctor Who. Nothing against it. Hugh Grant breaks silence on the claim he's set to become next Doctor Who. Hugh Grant has taken to social media to address rumours that he's set to take on the role of Doctor Who in the hit BBC series. Notting Hill actor Hugh Grant has taken to Twitter to hit back at claims that he could be stepping up as the new Doctor Who following Jodie Whittaker's departure later this year. The award-winning actor, 61, was quick to respond to rumours that he's set to become the 14th Doctor in the popular BBC sci-fi series. My mouse might be playing up today. I've gone back to my old mouse because I've got this new ergonomic mouse and it's crap, so I'll have to get another one. It was cheap. Anyway, so I'm back on my old mouse with its dodgy wheel. Anyway, no idea where the story came from, he added. It comes as the Daily Mirror reported that the Four Weddings and a Funeral actor could be fronting Doctor Who's Marvel-style makeover to pilot the TARDIS later this year. A Marvel-style makeover. That's first I've heard of this. What's going on there? Marvel-style... What? Anyway, we'll see, won't we? And there's the tweet. Nothing against Dr. W, but I'm not. No idea where the story came from. Ahead of the BBC show's 60th anniversary in 2023, showrunner Russell T Davies is returning to the sci-fi series, and reports claimed he was keen for the actor to bring a fresh feel to the role. The insider claimed to the publication... Hugh offers many attributes: a great actor, British, award-winning, Hollywood A-lister, and excellent at comedy. Conversations are in progress. They went on, the vision is that the show can be a Marvel-like product, building franchises around the Doctor and other key characters in his many lives. Well, they tried that, didn't they, with Sarah Jane Adventures, didn't they, which was successful. And then there was that series, they just did the one season of, what it called, Class. And of course there were Torchwood as well, weren't they? So they have tried it before. Anyway, there he is, standing in front of a Love Actually thing. There's Jodie. Nothing against her, just didn't like her as the Doctor. And there's Hugh. Hugh was reportedly previously offered the role of the Time Lord by screenwriter and producer Davies back in 2004. I'm sure they said 2005 yesterday. Anyway, whatever. However, the director claimed to Digital Spy that the offer never got past his agent. He told the publication, "Literally, I've wanted to work with Hugh Grant for decades. We did ask him to be Doctor Who in 2004. I can't even read. I told you I'm tired. I have to say that never got past his agent. I told him this. He was completely oblivious," he added. And, oh no, we hadn't done. I thought we'd done them, and he said that you don't miss. Following Hugh's remarks on the matter, his fans took to the comments to weigh in on the rumours. Twitter user @PiggingTeaBreak wrote, "This might convince you," before posting a clip of the star in his role as Prime Minister in Love Actually dancing in number 10 as the theme song of Doctor Who played. What did I say yesterday? Or day before, whenever I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? Will he be doing his dance from Love Actually? I am not PiggingTeaBreak, by the way. I'm on Twitter. What am I? I think I'm just Mercury Rapids, but at Mercury Rapids. I think I don't know. I've not checked it for that long. Hey, I do go on Twitter, but I never check what my actual @ is. I think it's Mercury Rapids. Anyway, never heard of her. Never heard of her. Added. If you're not being Doctor Who, then you could give Prime Minister a whirl. Look, I know it was just a character, and you had a script, etc., etc., but still, you'd do a far better job than the current guy. Sick, they added, while also referencing the star's role in the hit romance movie. Oh, current guy, sick, yeah, because it's a gal, but it's equal stuff, innit? They like to be called actors now, don't the women, instead of actresses, so we can call them guys as well. Contra Hitch 99 penned Doctor Who right here, alongside a smiling snap of Miriam Margolis. Yeah, I don't see why not. However, the idea of the Bridget Jones Diary star taking on the role as the Doctor isn't that far-fetched. After having appeared in a spin-off version of the show 2 decades ago, Hugh starred in a Red Nose Day special. That's if you're not in Britain, that's like a telethon thing, a charity TV special thing. For good causes, obviously, charity. Anyway, Hugh starred in a Red Nose Day special, Doctor Who and the Curse of Fatal Death in 1999. He starred alongside Richard E. Grant, Jim Broadbent, Julia Sawalha, and Joanna Lumley, who was the first woman to have played the role of the Doctor on the show. Oh, there we go, that's it. That is it. Yeah, whatever. I don't care who's going to be the Doctor. As I said, I think they'll make the next Doctor gay, probably non-binary. But anyway, there we go. Fantastic Beasts. Fantastic Beasts 3 box office predictions indicate a tough fight for the Harry Potter spin-off. Shouldn't have got rid of Johnny Depp, should they? Yeah. Early box office projections suggest that Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore is set to be the lowest grossing Harry Potter film yet. And that's what happens when you sack your main villain, who's a bankable star. I like Mads Mikkelsen, but he's no Johnny Depp, is he? Anyway, following a disappointing box office performance from Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, early projections predict that its follow-up, The Secrets of Dumbledore, will have even smaller box office returns. Well, they usually do anyway. A box office forecast from Box Office Pro projected that Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore will gross a domestic total between $100 million and $140 million. The forecast cited Harry Potter's active fan base, as well as the 2 trailers combined 31 million YouTube views as pros for the film's box office. However, the film's April release window was listed as a con. As in, again, not a con, as in a scam. A black mark against it. What does it mean, a con? With audiences expected to gravitate towards Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in May, followed by Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in June. Well, it depends how long. I said it could just stay in theatres for a month, couldn't it, before they bung it on HBO Max? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, Box Office Pro also suggested that some fans may not be inclined to see future Fantastic Beasts entries following the controversy surrounding transphobic comments made by the film's co-screenwriter and Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling. That's a very small number of people. Most people probably don't want to see it because Johnny Depp's not in it anymore. Excuse me. The forecast also suggested that the third Fantastic Beasts film would follow the trend of its predecessors, particularly the second entry, The Crimes of Grindelwald, which is currently the lowest grossing film in the Wizarding World franchise. Moreover, The Crimes of Grindelwald is the only film in the franchise to gross less than $200 million domestically, this is in America obviously, with a total of about $160 million. Box Office Pro projected an opening weekend domestic total of $40 million to $55 million for The Secrets of Dumbledore, less than Grindelwald's $62 million. Both the Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts franchise have been subject to scrutiny due to creator Rowling's stance on transgender rights and continued anti-trans comments, not mentioning Depp either. Several Harry Potter stars such as Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson and Eddie Redmayne spoke out against Rowling's transphobia. I ain't seen any transphobia from her. All the phobic comments are coming from people criticising her. While some came to her defence, including Hagrid actor Robbie Coltrane and Lucius Malfoy actor Jason Isaacs. Some fans even speculated that Rowling was absent from HBO Max's Harry Potter 20th Anniversary Return to Hogwarts reunion special due to the controversy. Or is it a controversy? Whatever. But sources stated that she had been invited. Another controversy surrounding The Secrets of Dumbledore, is the film's recasting of villain Grindelwald. Mads Mikkelsen replaced actor Johnny Depp, who was asked by Warner Brothers to step down from the role after losing a libel suit against UK publication The Sun, which made claims that Depp abused ex-wife and Aquaman star Amber Heard. It was recently reported that a defamation lawsuit between Heard and Depp may soon go to trial, with several celebrity witnesses lined up, such as Paul Bettany, James Franco and Elon Musk. And that where Warner Brothers asked him to step down, is just what is wrong with social media today. Twitter has too much power. You get a few people on Twitter moaning and whinging, and studios and companies and stuff just feel that they've got to act on it instead of just ignoring it like they should do, or just saying we've heard your complaints, but sod off. That's what they should say. It's our business, not yours. If you don't want to watch it, that's your headlines. Right, Shazam 2. Alleged Shazam Fury of the Gods spoilers reveal major cameo and character death. So if you don't want to know what happens in Shazam 2, skip on a bit. If you're watching live, just plug your ears and shut your eyes. Or go make a cuppa. I've got to admit, I've not even seen Shazam 1. I've got it somewhere and I've never got around to watching it. I'm like that. Anyway, with Shazam Fury of the Gods release date moving up from June 2023 to this December, seemingly critical intel regarding hitherto unknown details of its plot are conveniently starting to leak out. And are there various Shazams? I don't know. Like I say, I've not seen it. The supposed full leak of the sequel's plot comes by way of YouTube channel World of Geekdom, whose proprietor has claimed to receive the info from a source of his who saw an unfinished version of the film at a secret screen test last year. Hey, it takes a sip. In a recently uploaded video, the YouTuber shared a deluge of information in a short amount of time, about 12 minutes, addressing a few rumours circulating the web and even sharing some new revelations. Is that the video? Maybe it is, I don't know. We'll not watch it. If you follow the link in the description, you can watch it yourself. At the top, there are two minor points concerning Fury of the Gods that should be addressed right away. First, though, Mr. Mind was teased at the end of the first movie. World of Geekdom, unfortunate acronym, reports that the little psychic worm is not in the sequel. I don't know, because I've not seen it. Neither, it seems, is Savannah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, barring an undisclosed mid-credits scene. While the two villains seemingly formed an alliance after all was said and done, after Shazam, whatever nefarious plan they were hatching have currently been plans they were hatching have currently been put on hold. Is that Strong? Is it Mark Strong? That don't sound right, but it might be. I don't know. Second, despite their connection, Black Adam is more than likely not in Fury of the Gods either, save for any last-minute cameo insertions. This means DC Films is indeed reserving Rock the Dwayne Johnson's SmackDown, see what they did there, with Zachary Levi for a later date. The latter omission isn't too surprising. For some time now, the rumour mill and various reports have maintained that Black Adam wouldn't be coming around the streets of Philly until at least Shazam 3. In the absence of the lead hero's arch-nemesis, Fury of the Gods will focus its story on Billy Batson, featuring the same tone and humour as the last film, while also seemingly taking a few cues from Zack Snyder's Batman vs Superman, which I really liked. I'm one of these few people that like Batman vs Superman, particularly the ultimate cut, the ultimate version. The only thing I didn't like about it was I forgot his name. Him that plays himself in every film, Social Network chap. Him as Lex Luthor. He was crap. Anyway, Billy is allegedly having a crisis over his belief that his adopted family are planning to dump him. Things aren't much better on the superhero side either, as though the adoring public is very aware of the Shazam family following their Christmas carnival confrontation with Savannah. Some people think fear they're far from a force for good. They were going to put think, weren't they? And then they changed their mind and put fear and forgot to erase think. Much like how Batman viewed Superman in Batman vs Superman, till he found out the mothers had the same name. Despite his perceived death in the first film, the wizard Jimon Hunsu also returns, offering more wisdom about stepping up as the leader of the team to a struggling Billy. All the while, Billy is secretly crushing on Wonder Woman. Well, it's Gal Gadot, isn't it, A small detail, she needs to eat some more pies, though, doesn't she? Put a bit more meat on your bones, lass, but yeah, gorgeous. A small detail that will become important later on, as Gal Gadot allegedly appears in a cameo that impacts the climax. But Wonder Woman 1984 was horrible. Although I did watch it all the way through, so there must have been some. The only thing probably that kept me watching was Gal Gadot, because I'm a dirty old man. But I was just watching. Freddie, not to be left out, has his own crush. As previously reported, there is an affection between him and Rachel Zegler's character, who is reported to be one of the 3 daughters of Atlas. And there's a comic page. Don't know what that's from. From Power of Shazam, Volume 1, number 47, Endgame. Oh, right, very good. Some tentacular creature. That's me. I'm not a comic person. Not since 2000 AD. Back in the day, not the new ones. Anyway, Atlas himself doesn't appear in the movie, as he is apparently killed by the very staff the wizard uses to harness the power of Shazam in an act that prompts the upset Hesperides to vengefully target both the superpowered family and anybody using the magic. This is all gobbledygook to me. I'm going to have to watch that film out. According to World of Geekdom, I forgot what it stands for. I can't say that. Because in the UK, that's not an appropriate word to use. As part of their plan, they capture Freddy and take him somewhere off-world. The trip will add a cosmic element to Fury of the Gods, as well as some Harry Potter-style moments involving magical items, such as a prominent gag surrounding the habit of a living pen named Steve to take down messages verbatim. With Steve's help, Billy writes an absurd letter to Hespera, Helen Mirren, proposing a truce. At this point, they meet at the outdoor burger joint seen in the behind-the-scenes photos leaked last year. Hespera, sorry, just somebody very loud just walked past and down the street. Hespera explains all she wants to do is keep the peace and that it's actually her sister, Calypso, Lucy Lou, who wants to conquer, strike back, seek vengeance, and so on. Riding a dragon, the latter then suddenly attacks, drawing out all the Shazam kids into battle. There they are. The dragon could be a callback to the comics when Shazam fought a tri-headed serpent hydra of sorts known as the Three Faces of Evil. Or is that what that comic thing were about? But World of Geekdom, I've actually forgot what that stands for, but doesn't make note of that. Trolls, unicorns, and other magical creatures are said to accompany Calypso. Magical creatures, like if it were Disney, they'd be dwarves, wouldn't they? Because they're magical creatures according to Disney. Are said to accompany Calypso and her dragon when all of this goes down in the third act. World of Geekdom reports that the climax he saw was 40 minutes long, though he notes that he expects it to be trimmed down to a tighter run time. I'm going to have to look that up to make sure I've got that right. World of Geekdom. Where is it? Yeah, World of Geekdom. Yeah, we're right. Where are we? There we go. Now that we enter the climax, we are fully in spoiler territory. So be warned, what follows are some ostensibly major secrets, as revealed by World of Geekdom's info. And he looks happy there, doesn't he? As the film nears its conclusion, Calypso holds the staff and is ready to destroy the world. Having killed Hespera, she challenges Billy to a final showdown. Throughout the movie, he has been seen both maturing, realising how much he cares for his family and vice versa, and unlocking great power as part of a clause in his partnership with the wizard that grants one access to further abilities if they serve long enough as his champion. Insisting on going in alone to confront Calypso, Billy and the villain eventually touch the staff, sparking a surge of power that kills them both, a la Doomsday and Superman in Batman vs. Superman. But whereas she and her dragon are destroyed outright, Billy reverts to his civilian form and perishes because the strain was too much for his body to handle. Is that Ziegler or Zegler? I say Ziegler because it sounds like Dolph Ziegler. No, it's Dolph Ziegler, isn't it? Ziegler returns to take his body to her own planet, where he can be buried outside of a throne room alongside the staff, which was broken in battle. It's a solemn, heartbreaking scene, but it's not the ending. In a twist, the death is undone when Wonder Woman Gadot finally shows up to make her cameo. Fixing the staff, she revives him suddenly in a moment that tonally shifts from emotional to being played for laughs. Back home, as the family is eating dinner, it's ultimately revealed that Freddy and Ziegler's character are now an item, hinting that she might be sticking around for any sequels. As it was presented to his source, this climax included this climax included Fury of the Gods clocked in at roughly 2.5 hours. Normally, cuts like this are working prints and rough cuts without finished visual effects. As such, there is absolutely a chance the final cut is shortened compared to the version seen by the source. There was no post-credits scene to speak of, but that doesn't mean there won't be one. Even with Shazam Fury of the Gods set to come out later this year, Warner Brothers has more than enough time to stealthily insert a seed-planting teaser at the end of the film. We don't know their plans, but we can say with an amount of certainty that despite the film's earlier-than-expected release in December, it's still meant to take place chronologically after Black Adam and The Flash. While World of Geekdom touts his accuracy with earlier spoilers as evidence to support his leak, caution should still be exercised here. We don't have a trailer yet, and only when we can do any of these details start getting confirmed. What do you make of these supposed blah 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 blah? What do you think? Yes, there you go. That's it. Not a big Shazam fan. I've got the film, never got around to watching it. I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm going to have to watch it. I don't know why I've never got round to it. I've just never got round to it. So, anyway, right, Star Trek Picard. Here we go. Why is that down there? Star Trek Picard Season 2 images show Patrick Stewart in the past. Well, obviously we know in episode 3... Is it 3? Yeah, it is. They went back to 2024, didn't they? The first Star Trek Picard Season 2 Episode 4 images hint at the identity of the mysterious Watcher as Jean-Luc travels back into the past. And there he's in a bar. Is it going to be Guinan? The first images from Star Trek Picard Season 2 Episode 4 show Jean-Luc Picard in the Los Angeles of 2024. Star Trek Picard Season 2 kicked off with a bang when it began its run in early March. Following on from Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek The Next Generation films, the season has so far treated audiences to 2 major cameo appearances from Whoopi Goldberg as the Elorian bartender Guinan and John Delancey as godlike trickster Q. Star Trek Picard Season 2 has focused on alternate universes and time travel, with Picard's makeshift crew travelling back to 2024, almost 400 years before the series' present-day setting. Yeah. I was just working out, 2401, isn't it? After their current timeline was altered by the apparently malevolent Q. I don't think he's malevolent. He's never been malevolent as Q. I think he's done it and he don't realise he's done it, or there's a reason for it. Or there would be if it were proper Star Trek. If it were proper Star Trek, there'd be a reason for it. But it's Kurtzman Trek, so there doesn't have to be. After escaping, or if they had a reason at the beginning, they'll have forgot about it by the time they get to the end, and it'll be something else. Because they do that. After escaping from the tyrannical Confederation with the help of the Borg Queen, Picard's team are attempting to find the Watcher, who can help them to correct the timeline and save humanity from disaster. In order to find the Watcher, the crew have split up and are travelling around LA in search of any hints or clues that might point them in the right direction. Well, they haven't really split up, have they? They're set off and they're beamed there, transported there. And Raffi and Seven, quite quickly found each other, but Chris, whatever his name is, Cristobal Rios, isn't it? Materialised in mid-air, I don't know how that happened, and bashed his head in, ended up in a clinic, didn't he? And then got arrested by, evil immigration police. Anyway, now the first look images of Star Trek Picard's next episode, which will be this Thursday in America, Friday here in the UK, have been released by Paramount Plus via Bleeding Cool. The images focus on Admiral Picard in 21st century style clothing, albeit with his large comm badge. And hint at a major development in the series. While 2 of the images show Patrick Stewart's Jean-Luc appearing to wander around LA, 3 of the images reveal that the Admiral has returned to Guinan's 10 forward bar on Earth. Take a look at the new images below. And there we are, there's the 10 forward bar. So she's had that bar for 400 years, has she? Even when she was bombing around with the Enterprise D, she had someone else looking after that, did she? And she called it 10 forward. Or did she... she called it 10 forward, even though 10 forward on the Enterprise D were just called that because it was deck 10 and the forward section. Oh, don't get... Oh, shut up. I'm getting myself cross. Anyway, so that is there. That's, that's that. And there he is helping himself to something. Is it Sam Booker or something? I don't know. And he's got something else. So he's getting K-Lad, basically, isn't he? But it shouldn't affect him because he's a robot, isn't he? So keep forgetting that, don't they? And there he is. He's going to get a hot dog. He's a robot. He doesn't need it. Just needs recharging. And there's going through a subway or underpass or something like that, and probably thinking, oh, look at all this graffiti. Oh, whoa, the 21st century. That's what they'll say. Audiences will recognise the setting of the photos as Star Trek Picard Season 2 Episode 1 showed viewers Guinan's new 10 forward bar on Earth. when Jean-Luc Picard went there to seek her advice. It appears that in the upcoming episode, Picard has attempted to return to the bar in the 21st century, though it's not clear whether or not Guinan is there in the past too. Just happens to be called the same, does it? Back in the 400 years in the past. Pardon me. Whoopi Goldberg's Guinan has always been referred to as an explicitly ambiguous character who has a complicated relationship with time and reality. She was the only person on board the USS Enterprise who saw that reality had shifted in the Next Generation episode Yesterday's Enterprise, and audiences have seen Guinan in Earth's past before when she was living in the 19th century as a friend of Mark Twain's in Time's Arrow. Viewers might then make the connection that Guinan could be the mysterious The Watcher, who can help Picard correct the timeline in Star Trek Picard Season 2. Alternatively, if she isn't the Watcher herself, she might know who is, and point the retired Admiral in the right direction. Either way, with Picard's upcoming return to the 10 Forward bar on Earth, it's highly likely that Star Trek Picard's audience will get to see Goldberg Guinan at least one more time. So they're gonna de-age her then, are they? So I can't see her being in it much. I bet she's not even in it. I bet she ain't. The bar will be there. It's not showing her in these pictures, is it? The bar will be there, and it'll be sat waiting for her. And she'll just not be there. Somebody else will come. I bet. We'll see. But if she does come, as I said, are they going to de-age her? Which they should do, really. Or has she travelled back in time as well as Q sent her back as well? Not that he sent them back, they sent themselves back, but he could have sent other people back, couldn't he? I mean, we get to see Soji, don't we? And how did she go back? If she's the same Soji, I mean, she might not be, but she was a robot an android in the 24th century, wasn't she? In the 25th century. I don't know. Made from some of Data's DNA. I don't know how robotics works. Anyway, right. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos were inspired by sci-fi, and so should you. Can you see that right? Yeah, you can. Elon Musk is an avid reader. He's particularly fond of science fiction. Worth reading Asimov's Foundation, he tweeted in reference to the books covering the downfall of civilization that visionary Harry Seldon tries to escape from by setting up scientific colonies on distant planets. The lesson I drew from that, Musk explains to Rolling Stone, is you should try to take the set of actions that are likely to prolong civilization, minimise the probability of a dark age, and reduce the length of a dark age if there is one. Which is why he wants Earth to be a multi-planet species, doesn't he? It's why he wants to go to Mars. Anyway, Musk is not the only big tech boss inspired by sci-fi. Amazon's Jeff Bezos is a Trekkie. And Google's Sergey Brin names Neil Stephenson's 1992 novel Snow Crash as one of the books that influenced him. The metaverse that Mark Zuckerberg is pushing today was actually first conceived in this book. Sci-fi novels are, of course, unable to make accurate predictions about future technologies, but their plots take the reader into the intertwined relationships of people and technology. Well, some of them make accurate predictions about technologies. I mean, Arthur C. Clarke predicted communication satellites, didn't he? Silicon Valley entrepreneurs have figured this out, benefiting from rich narratives, putting a spotlight on the implications of fictional ideas. Using sci-fi is good old-fashioned scenario planning on steroids. Imagine a group of people is blindfolded and randomly dropped in a terrain consisting of hills and mountains. Then it starts to rain and the water is rising in the valleys. Everyone is climbing upwards as it continues to rain. As it continues to rain and the water rises higher and higher, some people reach the top of the hill they have been climbing. As there is no way to go higher, they are swept away by the floods. Only those who by coincidence started their journey at the bottom of a high mountain survive. This scenario describes the common way most companies look for new solutions. They engage in what management scholars refer to as a local search, i.e. looking for business ideas that are not too far from their current expertise. Those who are lucky enough to engage with ideas and technologies that lend themselves to future opportunities will survive, others go out of business. Are we still on about sci-fi now? Oh yeah. Even when companies... I thought the article had changed then. I thought we were on a different thing. Even when companies attempt to engage in a distant search, the natural instinct to knock down anything defying industry logic restrains their imagination. Sci-fi offers a playful way to look further afield, ignoring such restraints. Initially, it might seem a bit immature for serious corporate types, think New York law firm, only suited for the gig economy that hardly needs a license to go crazy. But with serious institutions like MIT, Penn State and Georgia Tech offering science fiction courses for engineers and blue chips like France Telecom using sci-fi to ideate in its innovation lab. Nobody needs to be embarrassed. In a world full of surprises, imagination and play are needed to prepare. Scenario planning is a process where companies develop multiple stories describing the future. The approach has two distinct advantages. First, it gives participants a license to think without the pressure to make precise predictions. Second, storytelling provides a rich picture of potential futures, moving beyond a few key indicators. Science fiction can easily be integrated into such a process. In a recent article, Thomas Michaud from Université du Littoral Côte d'Opale, sorry, that was my French pronunciation, attempt, and Francesco Paolo Appio from Schema Business School, it's a bit of a schemer, him. Business School suggest hiring artists and sci-fi writers, leveraging an original method inspired by design thinking, design fiction. France Telecom, for example, has this gone a long time? No, right. Where were we? France Telecom, for example, used such an approach to create dozens of dream stories depicting the future of the telecom industry. These stories can then be used as an inspiration for new products and business models. In other words, more conventional scenarios are replaced by sci-fi inspired ones. Pardon me. To move from rough idea and prototype to something more concrete, the grand vision has to be translated into a business model. Open strategy methods can be used, setting up workshops where competing teams develop business models fitting with the sci-fi scenarios. After the first round, each team pitches its ideas to all workshop participants. Half of the ideas are dropped after this, while the winning teams develop more detailed business models. The initial sci-fi stories will once again surface at the end as a criterion to judge the validity of the business models. Ooh, cracky. For Musk, science fiction is not just a loose inspiration. It is concrete and real Foundation series and Zeroth Law, or Zeroth Law, I don't know. I've not read the Foundation book or whatever that's on about. Are fundamental to creation of SpaceX, he tweeted in June 2018. Going back to first principle, the big picture drawn by the writers provided him with the background he needed to think about the space industry in an entirely new way. Maybe no colonies on faraway planets yet, will not be long, but $1 billion company is not bad for a starters. There we go. So, I mean, I've written a sci-fi novel or 3. Can I get a job at SpaceX then? Just thinking up crap. Right. Oh, keep doing. There we go. Why Rendezvous with Rama has sci-fi fans excited. Denis Villeneuve is slated to direct Rendezvous with Rama, but that's not the only reason why we're excited. And here's some pictures. Fans of British science fiction author Arthur C. Clarke were buoyed in December by the news that French-Canadian filmmaker Denis Villeneuve had been tapped to direct the forthcoming adaptation of Clarke's 1973 novel Rendezvous with Rama. Considered by some to be among the frontrunners for the Academy Award for Best Picture at next week's Oscars ceremony, Villeneuve's excellent track record with science fiction includes the underrated Arrival, I didn't like it, Blade Runner 2049, I didn't like it, and last year's critically acclaimed box office smash Dune. This makes him perhaps the most sought-after director when it comes to sci-fi movies, and securing his services for Rendezvous with Ram, which famously spent most of the 2000s and 2010s in development hell, was widely seen as a coup. But it's not just Villeneuve's involvement that gets us excited. The source material is excellent. If it never quite achieves the heights of 2001, Clarke's Rendezvous with Ram gets close. Set in the early 22nd century, the film concerns the efforts of astronauts to intercept Ram, a mysterious cigar-shaped object hurtling towards the inner solar system. Sounds reminiscent of Oumuamua. Is that what it was called? You know, that's that cigar-shaped object that came from interstellar space, went round the sun, sped up, and buggered off again, didn't it? On their arrival, the astronauts discover that Rama is an enormous alien spaceship in the shape of a cylinder, complete with a breathable atmosphere, land, and waterways inside. That's probably what Oumuamua was. If Clarke's somewhat thin characterisation left something to be desired, the sheer visceral appeal of exploring a new world in the confines of a spaceship was alluring to sci-fi fans. The novel won a slew of awards on its publication, including science fiction's highest honour, the Hugo Award in 1974, and several sequels followed in collaboration with American author Gentry Lee. While it's far too early to speculate about the beginnings of a Ramaverse, it is clear there is ample scope for expansion. The quintessential Clarke adaptation is, of course, Stanley Kubrick's masterpiece 2001 A Space Odyssey, 1968, starring Keir Dullea and Gary Lockwood as David Bowman and Frank Poole, the crew of the Discovery, a spacecraft bound for Jupiter to investigate a mysterious black monolith orbiting the planet. Well, they didn't know that, did they? While some commentators at the time criticised the film's glacial pacing and inscrutable ending, the film has stood the test of time, frequently appearing on critics' best-of lists. Less well-known is Peter Hyams' 2010 The Year We Make Contact, 1984, the adaptation of Clarke's sequel to 2010 Odyssey 2. The film benefited from intelligent, understated performances from Roy Scheider and Helen Mirren in the lead roles, with John Lithgow, whose stock had risen following his turn in the box office hit Footloose earlier in the year, supporting as jovial engineer Kurnow. Nominated for 5 Academy Awards, the film enjoyed modest success at the box office. It was good as 2010. If its Cold War-era subplot, an increase in tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union over an armed confrontation in Honduras, did not initially seem to have aged well, it gains credence in today's polarised world. 2001 and 2010 brought Clarke's visions to life in a series of stunning vistas that were utterly unlike anything seen on screen up to that point. Moreover, 2001 in particular had a lasting influence on the science fiction film. Kubrick's insistence that all the sets be destroyed to prevent them from being recycled for use by other film productions did not stop later designers and directors from copying the austere high-tech aesthetic that characterises the living quarters of the Discovery. Expect more spectacular visuals in a Rendezvous with Rama adaptation. Fans finally get to see an O'Neill cylinder in action. Not excited, you should be. The idea for an O'Neill cylinder dates back to the early 1970s with Princeton professor Gerard O'Neill. During a physics class in 1973, he set his students up with the task of designing a habitat designed to house large numbers of people. The result was a proposal for a massive, hollowed-out cylinder with living space on the insides that rotates along its long axis to provide artificial gravity. It's become a much-loved staple of science fiction fans everywhere and famously formed the central concept of Michael J. Straczynski's long-running television series, 5 seasons, Babylon 5, 94-98, soon to be rebooted by Warner. I'm not sure if fingers crossed, but maybe next year. However, almost 50 years after the idea came to prominence, big screen depictions are still startlingly rare. In the pre-digital era, this is hardly surprising. The extreme difficulty encountered in rendering such a locale in a believable way dissuaded most directors from even attempting it. But today, as the fleeting depiction of such a cylinder in Christopher Nolan's Interstellar... God, I hate that film. Didn't like Interstellar. Did my head in. Presenting an O'Neill... Oh, it's clever. No, it wasn't clever. It was bloody stupid. Presenting an O'Neill cylinder in a believable way in film is well within the capabilities of special effects designers. Seeing Rama from the inside would be a real treat. And that's it. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be good to look at. Crack on. Star Wars 10, we've got a list. It's out 10 cancelled projects that could have been great. The Star Wars Saga is one of the biggest franchises in the world, but it could have been bigger had any of these projects come to fruition. The Star Wars Saga continues to be one of the biggest franchises of all time, spawning all sorts of additional media from books to video games. When Disney purchased Lucasfilm in 2012, there were still many projects in various stages of development. Some of these cancellations were due to what Disney perceived as not fitting their brand. In addition to this period, there were several other times projects were cancelled. Unfortunately, fans will never know how these projects would have turned out. However, had any of these been made, perhaps the state of Star Wars would be completely different today. While it may be bittersweet, there is still fun to be had reading what these projects could have been. Star Wars 1313. Easily one of the most ambitious projects on the list, Star Wars 1313 would have followed a young Boba Fett as he ventures through the lower levels of Coruscant. Had the game ever come out, it would have been the perfect piece of media to prepare for the book of Boba Fett. 1313 was also going to have a much grittier tone than previous Star Wars games and was to focus on gadget-based action similar to 2002's Star Wars Bounty Hunter. While the game was technically cancelled, much of the game was already completed, and Kathleen Kennedy has stated, according to Slash Film, that the game was gold and something the company was spending a lot of time looking at, poring through, discussing, and they may very well develop those things further. Star Wars Underworld, and there's a still. I saw a video somewhere, I don't know if it was on YouTube, it must have been, of... I don't know if it was like test footage from Star Wars Underworld, but it looked pretty good. I mean, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Bustling, Coruscant style world. Anyway, Underworld could very be the biggest missed opportunity in all of Star Wars. I'm going to say. They wrote 50 scripts, didn't they? There were going to be 50 episodes, and the 50 scripts were written, they were finished, and it never got done. Orchestrated by a creative team led by the maker himself, George Lucas, Star Wars Underworld was to be an anthology show focusing on different characters in different time periods throughout the galaxy. The stories of both Rogue One and Solo originated as Underworld episodes before they were repurposed as the anthology films. I'm not sure if that's entirely true. Per CBR, God of War creator Cory Barlog had read some of the episodes during his time at Lucasfilm and stated, "I cared about the Emperor. They made him a sympathetic figure who was wronged by this effing heartless woman. She's this hardcore gangster, and she just totally destroyed him as a person. I almost cried while reading this." That sounds crap. This show could have been something really special, and perhaps it could be retooled as a future show for Disney+. Yeah, but that bit with the Emperor and getting his heart broken, that sounds diabolical. Anyway, Ragtag. This is like an open world Star Wars game, wasn't it? I'm sure it was. Ragtag was the working title for the EA Visceral Star Wars game led by Uncharted director Amy Hennig. The game would have been an action-adventure inspired by the gameplay of the Uncharted series. The game had advanced far enough in development for a bit of gameplay footage that was shown in 2015. It was unfortunately shelved after EA shut down Visceral Games, as reported by Kotaku. During EA's ownership of the Star Wars game franchise, they had managed to cancel more games than they created. This game presented something very unique in the Star Wars saga and could have been really fun for fans. Thankfully, that's Princess. That's the cat. Thankfully, fans no longer have to worry about constant cancellations now that the license is open to all game companies. Jedi Knight 3, Brink of Darkness. And there's Kyle Katarn, and I forgot his name. But he was portrayed in the live action footage by Christopher Neame, wasn't he? Oh, I like Christopher Neame. Jedi Knight might be one of the most underrated Star Wars games, featuring one of the coolest characters from Legends, Kyle Katarn. Hopefully one day he will join the new canon. After the second game in the series, LucasArts followed with the spin-off Jedi Academy, which detailed Luke's new Jedi Academy. Per Shack News, this third game would have been the conclusion to Katarn's story. Story details around the game remain unknown, but the title was cancelled at some point, retroactively making Jedi Academy the third and final game of the series. Well, no, there were the Dark Forces, Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, Jedi Outcast, and then Jedi Academy, wasn't there? So this would have been the fifth game. Just saying. Tatooine anthology film. Bet we all heard the music then, didn't we? Binary Sunset. Inner's Heads. During the peak era of Disney Star Wars, after the release of The Force Awakens, before it all went to shit, Lucasfilm was throwing several ideas on the table for standalone projects. One of these wasn't based on a specific character or major event in the saga, but rather just an entire film set on Tatooine. Well, they're doing that now, aren't they? Just Tatooine or, similar desert planet is basically where almost all the series is set now, aren't they? With an occasional side mission to somewhere green. Anyway, much of the details on the film were kept under wraps. Not a film, what about film? It's just said an anthology. Oh, anthology film. Oh, right. Well, it'd be a series, wouldn't it? I don't know. Much of the details, unless it were like what they call it, a portmanteau film, maybe that's what they're meaning to. Much of the details on the film were kept under wraps, but the film's art director and designer Neil Lamont, per Cinema Blend, had said, "We were just starting our work on another Star Wars spin-off. We were actually just making our mark on Tatooine, which would have been interesting as some other new galaxies." Eh? A day later, the film was sadly reported to be cancelled. Yeah, it'd be like, like that film Trick or Treat, not the Sammy Kerr one, the other one. But a different story set on Halloween. One of them sort of films, wasn't it? That maybe, intertwine. Star Wars, the epic continues. Quite possibly the weirdest Star Wars concept to date. The Epic Continues was a concept toy company Kenner had following the conclusion of the original Star Wars trilogy. According to CBR, the continuation of the saga would have followed a new villain named Ather Prime, who had previously been exiled by Palpatine. This concept also included elements of George Lucas's Clone Wars ideas, which had yet to materialise. Grand Moff Tarkin was also set to return, having narrowly avoided death at the hands of the rebels in A New Hope. Although the idea was rejected by Lucasfilm, the toy line did become part of the Star Wars canon at the time, as the concept was adapted into the comic The Battle of Cadinth in 1995. I thought it was going to say like Star Wars The Next Generation. I thought it was going to be Battle of the Sith Lords. This video game could have blown The Force Unleashed out of the water with all the concepts it had. The game would have followed Maul as he goes on a quest to destroy Darth Krayt's new army of Sith as they break the infamous rule of two. Footage of the game on YouTube, features Maul fighting members of the Death Watch. They're, the Mandalorians. I presume that's what they mean. Does it show them in the picture? No, it don't. Battle of the Sith Lords also would have featured Legends fan favourite Darth Talon. The game could have made fans learn new things about Maul they didn't know too, further developing his character. At the time of the game's cancellation, it had just completed the prototyping phase to move on to the next stage of development, per Game Rant. Sith Lords had a sad outcome, but again, it's never too late to begin development again, as the Star Wars game license is no longer exclusive to EA. So with this set, does it say? Don't know. So would this be set before The Phantom Menace? Or would it be set, when Darth Maul had got his robot legs and all that? Oh, speaking of robots, something's getting cut in half there, look. A Rhodian getting cut in half. A red lightsaber. And I suspect, that's Darth Talon, isn't it? So I'm going to say it looks like she's going to get chopped up, but if that's Darth Talon, then I think she's safe. Oh no, she threw that. She's done two, hasn't she? I've just noticed she's chopped two people in half. She's thrown a lightsaber and chopped them two in half. Although I've never understood how we saw Yoda do it, didn't we, in Revenge of the Sith? He threw his lightsaber and then it went into a thing and he pulled it back out. But I always thought a lightsaber deactivated when you let go of it. I thought it had an on button, but a grip that you had to keep hold of. And when you let go, it deactivated. But I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a fat Yorkshireman. Solo sequels. Despite having one of the most turbulent and rushed productions, Solo was still a huge success with fans, but regrettably not enough moviegoers went to see it to warrant a sequel. Yeah, because A, it wasn't very good. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't very good. B, it cost twice as much as it should have done because Kathleen Kennedy was asleep on the job. And 3, The Last Jedi had come out and people had fallen out with Star Wars because of it, because Last Jedi were absolute garbage. Anyway, preceding the sequel's cancellation, Alden Ehrenreich, who were nothing like Han Solo, plus he was about 6 inches too short, Donald Glover and Amelia Clarke had all signed on for 2 more films, according to Esquire, but the Wrap reports there are no current plans to make the films. The first film set up major events for a sequel teasing Darth Maul as the big overarching villain. More recently, Amelia Clarke's Kira has been heavily featured in the Star Wars comics, perhaps teasing her future in the saga. There's also a Lando series in development for Disney+, which could certainly act as a follow-up to Solo. Star Wars The Clone Wars Seasons 7 and 8. Oh, crikey. Oh, I'm very gassy. I'm not with it today. I'm not with it at all. Before the return of the Clone Wars on Disney+, 2 further seasons were planned. Prior to its cancellation, there were several story arcs in development that would have featured Darth Maul's imprisonment with Palpatine, Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting on Utapau, Boba Fett dueling Cad Bane, and Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Vos conspiring to assassinate Count Dooku, per CBR. After it was cancelled, these arcs were adapted into novels and comics, and unfinished animation reels were released on StarWars.com as part of the Clone Wars Legacy brand. Since many of these episodes were in advanced stages of animation and fully voiced, it wouldn't come as a surprise if Lucasfilm end up finalising these stories and releasing them on Disney+. Disney is all about maximising their content on the streaming service, so what better way than to finish the projects they already have, rather than spend more money on new productions. Pardon me. George Lucas's sequel trilogy. The worst thing Disney could have ever done is not use the story treatments and material George Lucas had written for the sequel trilogy. Yeah, because they're idiots. And they're greedy and they didn't want to pay him. I mean, they did buy these treatments, but they didn't want to use them because they didn't want to, have to continue paying him, royalties and stuff like that. Fan reception for the Disney-made films had been divisive, to say the least. However, one thing all fans can agree on is that Lucas was a real ideas man. Regardless of the quality of the writing in the prequels, they still featured some of the best world-building in the whole franchise. According to IndieWire, George Lucas's trilogy would have had Darth Maul as the primary antagonist as he leads a new criminal empire along with an imperial remnant whom he likened to the terrorist organisation ISIS. Leia would have been the central focus as she rebuilds the New Republic, and Luke would have been rebuilding a new Jedi Order. All of the concepts can be found in the book Star Wars Archives 1999 to 2005. A great read for die-hard fans. It's not die-hard, it's Star Wars. While it's a huge missed opportunity, these films never happened. At least Lucasfilm is going in the right direction with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. To be honest, I won't count on it. But anyway, there you go. So there you go, 10 Star Wars projects that never happened. And probably never will. But as I said, I saw that. It might be on. You have to search on YouTube for Star Wars Underworld, like test footage or something like that, and see if it's around. Anyway, last story. NASA confirms there are more than 5,000 planets beyond our solar system, including several hot Jupiters, super-Earths, and mini-Neptunes. I mean, they've discovered, not that, yes, there are more than 5,000 planets, but they've discovered 5,000 so far. There'd be millions and millions, or as Carl Sagan would say, billions and billions. Anyway, NASA has confirmed that there are more than 5,000 known planets outside our solar system. Known as exoplanets. The US Space Agency has added another 65 exoplanets to the online NASA Exoplanet archive, bringing the grand total to 5,005. When I was a kid, it was pipe dreams, thinking of planets around other stars. Exoplanets found so far include small rocky worlds like Earth, gas giants many times larger than Jupiter, and hot Jupiters in scorchingly close orbits around their stars. However, NASA stresses that 5,005 is only a tiny fraction of all the planets in the Milky Way galaxy alone, which could number hundreds of billions. And there's a video, if you want to watch it. It's not just a number, said Jesse Christiansen, research scientist with the NASA Exoplanet Science Institute at Caltech in Pasadena, California. Each one of them is a new world, a brand new planet. I get excited about every one because we don't know anything about them. The majority of exoplanets are gaseous, like Jupiter or Neptune, rather than terrestrial, according to NASA's online database. The archive records exoplanet discoveries that appear in peer-reviewed scientific papers that have been confirmed using multiple detection methods or by analytical techniques. Among the most recently confirmed exoplanets are K2-377b, a super-Earth with a mass of 3.51 Earths that takes 12.8 days to complete one orbit of its star. It must be very close then. Another called TOI-1064b is a potentially rocky world larger than Earth, according to NASA. Most exoplanets are found by measuring the dimming of a star that happens to have a planet pass in front of it, called the transit method. Another way to detect exoplanets, called the Doppler method, measures the wobbling of stars due to the gravitational pull of orbiting planets. NASA's milestone comes 30 years after the first exoplanets were discovered back in 1992. In January that year, Alexander, how do you pronounce that? Volchan and Dale Frail, I bet he got Mickey taken out of him at school, didn't he? And Dale Frail, who's laughing now though, announced the discovery of two rocky planets orbiting PSR B1257 plus 12, a pulsar in the constellation Virgo. A further planet was discovered in the system in 1994. Finding just 3 planets around this spinning star essentially opened the floodgates for exoplanets, said Volchan. Good heavens above. Who still searches for what's his first name? Alexander. I'll call him that. If his name pops up again, I'll just say Alexander. Who still searches for exoplanets as a professor at Penn State. If If you can find planets around a neutron star, planets have to be basically everywhere, he told NASA. The planet production process has to be very robust. Some of the exoplanets that have been discovered since, such as Kepler-16b, orbit 2 stars at once, like the planet of Tatooine in Star Wars. Ooh, good heavens. Around 200 light years away, which is really close in galactic terms, Kepler-16b weighs about a third as much as Jupiter and has a radius three quarters that of Jupiter. Oh, crikey. Making it similar to Saturn in both size and mass. Another exoplanet called Wasp 121b, around 850 light years from Earth, is an example of a hot Jupiter, a Jupiter-like giant gas planet on a close orbit around its parent star. Wasp 121b has one of the shortest orbits detected to date, circling its star in just 30 hours. It is tidally locked, meaning the same side always faces its star, while its cold and night side is turned forever towards space. Gliese 486b, meanwhile, is an example of a super-Earth, a planet larger than Earth but smaller than the 4 gas giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune and Uranus. I'm a child, still laugh at Uranus. Gliese 486b is the only planet so far detected orbiting the small star and has a radius 1.3 times larger than the Earth, but is 2.8 times more massive. The planet has an iron-silicate composition similar to the makeup of Earth, but is much hotter, with a surface temperature of 802 Fahrenheit, 428 Celsius, according to a 2021 study. GJ367b, meanwhile, is exposed to a huge amount of radiation due to its small distance to its star, about 620,000 miles, which it orbits in just 8 hours. With a diameter of 5,560 miles, GJ367b is slightly bigger than Mars, 4,200 miles, but has the makeup of Mercury. Which basically no atmosphere to speak of, and probably heavily created, and with a massive core. Scientists are still trying to learn more about what exactly exoplanets and their atmospheres are made up of. NASA and its James Webb Space Telescope will capture light from the atmospheres of exoplanets to read which gases are present to potentially identify telltale signs of habitable conditions. The $10 billion, £7.4 billion observatory, which launched on Christmas Day a few years ago, will explore the universe in the infrared spectrum, allowing it to gaze through clouds of gas and dust where stars are being born. Oh, that's it. There we go. They're very interesting. So they've discovered over 5,000 so far, and some of them are within, they didn't mention it in this, but some of them are, super Earths or Earth-like planets within the Goldilocks zone, where liquid water can exist on their surfaces. And some of them are really close. I think there's one around Proxima Centauri, which is only 4 light years away, which has a planet within its Goldilocks zone. The trouble is, Proxima Centauri is a dwarf star, isn't it? So it might not be conducive to life, but you never know. Anyway, so that's it. That is your lot for today. Get rid of that. Make myself big. Princess has gone flying past me, but she's been quiet, so she's probably just waiting patiently. Where's me at? For me to feed her. Or let her out. The one or t'other. Right, so, as I say every day, we'll leave it there. So, wherever you are in the world, be nice to each other, help each other out whenever you can. And don't forget, it's that way. God, you think we used to be now, wouldn't it? Like and subscribe. Where's my hand? That one. Oh, there we go. Like and subscribe, and share the videos, and use the notification bell, and all that stuff. So, until tomorrow, I'll see thee. Oh. Did you hear that? My stomach gurgling. I've eaten loads and loads of sultanas today, so I imagine I'll probably be running to the toilet soon. Bit too much information there, but I'll just leave you with that. I'll see thee again.